It's a Daily Pickle. Yeah, let's talk Rockies here on the Daily Pickle because this has got to be hard. You take over a team. You're now 9-50. Just think about that. You got to win 41 in a row to get to 500.
We need a whole new attitude, man. We need to get Ricky Vaughn. We need to call the California Penal League. We need to get some skulls and crossbones. We need to start messing this league up. We need to start throwing at heads. We need to start putting spikes up in people's chests. We need to start playing down and dirty because no one is giving any kind of love the Colorado Rockies way anytime soon.
Well, here's the problem, too. Your pitching and your hitting is almost as bad as each other. I mean, at least most teams, one or the other. I mean, some of your pitchers are going to have, your team ERA will be 4 and your team will be hitting 230. That's probably like the Cincinnati Reds right now, or the Pittsburgh Pirates have an ERA of 3.9, but their hitters stink. Rockies are 30th in hitting and 29th in pitching. Their pitchers have a 5.5 ERA, and the only team that's worse, and the record does not reflect this because they're hitting really well, is the Oakland Athletic or the Sacramento Athletics. They have a 5.7 ERA, but they're 23 and 37. That's respectable for what we thought. You're playing in a minor league park. Your home park is a hitter's paradise. So yes, your team is taking advantage of that. But who's suffering? You're pitching. They're not pitching well in Sacramento. But the Rockies are terrible. 510 innings pitched, over 600 hits you've allowed. You've walked 204, and you've only struck out 389, and they're hitting 294 off you as a team, and that is the worst in Major League Baseball. So when you're hitting 215 as a team, and the team is hitting nearly 300 off of your pitching staff, I didn't even get into their feeling. So another thing that is coachable besides pitching is fielding. And right now, where's Colorado? You're dead last. You've made the most errors, 49 errors in 59 games for a fielding of 977, as opposed to Atlanta Braves, best fielding team in baseball, 22 errors in 58 games. But look at some of these teams that are right near the top in the standings. Dodgers, top 10 in fielding, 25 errors in 59 games. Phillies, one of the top teams in baseball, 24 errors in 59 games. Tigers, one of the best teams in baseball, 24 errors in 60 games. Cardinals and Royals, they're, records are around 500. What's keeping them there right now? A lot of it is fielding and hitting. 24 errors between the two of them there. And then the Texas Rangers, who have come on lately, only 23 errors in 60 games. So you see some of these teams that are near the bottom and struggling. Angels, White Sox, 40 errors in 60 games. Athletics, 35 errors in 60 games. But you look at the Colorado Rockies, you suck in almost every category. And changing the coach was not the issue. And really, it's not even about the players. They're not awful. Some of those guys are major leaguers. But some of those guys, like Kevin Kernan said, you overrated them. You felt that, see, you have to build a team. Let me describe this as the 80s Royals and the 80s Cardinals. You put speed at all of your specialty positions, shortstop, second base, center field. Even your catcher, Tony Pena, in the 80s was a pretty good hitter, and he was a fantastic defender. So you knew defensively, we've got to patrol a monster field. The Royals, we have a monster outfield. We need guys that can patrol that like nobody's business. And in the 90s, they built a team that could slug at Mile High Stadium and at Coors Field where the ball flies. They built a team knowing we're going to have a team with probably 2 runs more ERA-wise like you have now. Yeah. Just like everybody who's going to come in here. Nobody's going to want to pitch here. So we have to beat them. We have to club them to death. We have to bludgeon them with the bats. You don't have any bats in Colorado. And not Tovar, not any of these guys can really hit that well. And that's a problem for Colorado. They need to start getting some monsters that can hit again. The Galarragas, the Bichettes, the Todd Heltons, the Larry Walkers, who you got from the Expos as a free agent. You have to either spend money on those type of players, because getting rid of a Nolan Arenado and then kicking in $50 million was the worst message you could send to that organization as what direction you were going in, which is to the bottom as quick as we could.
I'm trying to track, and it's my new stat. I don't know what's going to happen with the home run chase. Cal Raleigh now takes the lead with 23. We're still way off pace and still far away from chasing now Judge's 62.
You know what? And that's not the easiest ballpark in Seattle to hit in.
Oh,
so
I agree.
Raleigh to be hitting home runs, kudos to that kid for being as good as he is, because we knew all about Rodriguez and how, this huge contract that he signed as a rookie. But kudos to this kid who probably wasn't rated near the top, is giving you top-notch baseball.
I'm tracking, though, the losses of the Colorado Rockies versus the 2024 Chicago White Sox. That is last year's White Sox. 50 is the loss record right now for the Colorado Rockies. The White Sox last year hit 50 June 10th, which is only a week away. Now, they were 17-50 because I think we start really early last year, like earlier than expected. I think we're a week into March to get the season started. But there are a couple significant losing streaks coming the White Sox way here in the next couple of weeks in 2024 that really spelled demise to their 41 and 112? What were they? 121. 41 and 121 is the record the Rockies are chasing. Don't want to chase. Don't want to end up beating. But right now, 9-50 for the Colorado
Kernan
Rockies.
talked about this. So at home, 26 home runs, they're hitting 245 as a team. There's 12 teams right now in baseball, including the Reds, who are right at 245 or 245 as a team and below. So that's actually better than it's been in a lot of years, where it's been around 20. We're at 12, so that's not bad. On the road, they're awful. 24 home runs, they're hitting 190 as a team with a 252 on base percentage, 303 slugging. And 555 OPS, which is a merger of your slugging and your batting average, or your on base percentage, excuse me. That's where they have to improve. When you're going from mile high to sea level, and there's such a disparity, the ball's not going to jump off your bat. You're going to feel sluggish. I played in Denver. When you came down, when you're at mile high above the sea level, you can't breathe for crap. So it's sucking the wind out of you, but the ball travels a lot better. So, yes, their batting average is good, but they should have 35, 40 to 45 home runs at Colorado through 30 games. And instead, they've got 26 at home and 24 on the road, which means they're pretty much mediocre at both places. There's no home field advantage when you're a 9-50 team. Somehow, some way, you've got to learn how to play 600 or 650 at home and close to 500 on the road to even think about the playoffs. They're so far below sea level on every category. That's the problem. How do you coach that? I don't care if it's Schaefer. I don't care if it's Bruce Bochy or Dave Roberts. You can't coach a team that consistently underachieves because some analytics people said, oh, no, they're built for Coors Field. You just have to manage them a little bit better when they go down to sea level and go to these other ballparks. You can't manage this team at all because they're no good at Coors. They're no good when they're on the road.
Let's talk some good baseball. I thought this weekend series between the Yankees and Dodgers was worth the price of admission.
Absolutely. The stars came through.
Maybe not last night. Last night was still a great game and some great at-bats, even though Shohei and Judge were 0 for as far as the hit columns go. But, man, Friday was beautiful baseball, especially with those two superstars. And I don't think it disappointed either in the 18-2 blowout on Saturday.
No.
But Shohei and Judge, I think they have a knack for the bright lights. Like when it is game time and they know that this is a special at bat, those two come through. Shohei a little bit more than Judge.
Well, listen, Shohei and Judge are two of the best players, if not just two best hitters. But these guys know how to run the bases. They know how to play defense. And a big argument. And listen, this is one thing where I don't like A-Rod, but it's more from the cheating than his perspective on baseball. The guy knows his baseball and was a hell of a player. I just think that he was greedy and used the performance-enhancing drugs on top of everything else God gave him.
Yeah.
But when he's saying the same thing as me and you. There's no reason for Shohei to pitch. Right now, the way the Dodgers are built, they've got 14 guys on the disabled list or injured list from pitching. Something is wrong with their system, their pitching coaches, what they're doing with their philosophy of breaking balls. You don't want Shohei's bat to be pulled out of that lineup. He makes that lineup go. So I think that to try to push this guy once every fifth day, and what are you going to do? Are you going to send him out for 3 or 5 rehab starts? No, you're not.
He's expecting to do that around the All-Star break.
Forget that crap. And there's if I'm a fan, wow. I'm rebelling. I do not want Shohei. So if you are going to do that at the All-Star break, just let him start pitching. I don't care if he starts throwing 3 innings or 5 innings or does a spring training stint. When he starts, guys are going to have to suck it up. But I would not pitch Shohei until next year. I would give him the rest of this year to keep working his arm back. That should not be your priority as the Dodgers to try to shove him into the rotation.
There was something that happened at Dodger Stadium. I don't know if you heard of this. There was a fan that thought something was like dripping on him, and he got hit in the head with a piece of falling concrete.
He was bleeding.
I don't know if he was bleeding or not. I don't know the extent of his injuries.
Really?
But it was a piece of concrete. The Dodgers do know about this.
You know about that because the Cubs dropped a slab and almost killed somebody years ago.
I know.
And they're lucky that it did. Listen, this field was built back in the 50s.
This should not happen.
They've
Don't
renovated
say like,
it.
Hey, this stuff happens. It
should never happen. No, that's not what I mean. That's why they closed down Candlestick a couple years after the earthquake out there in '89.
Ooh, I never thought of that.
There's tons of earthquakes in L.A. There's tons of them in L.A., even small ones. 4s and 5s are still pretty good and shake that stuff up. But here's the one thing about it. Dodger Stadium, as much as I hate the Dodgers, that is one of the most well-kept and maintained stadiums in baseball. That, honestly, you could eat off the floors. They scrub the floors. They scrub the seats. They give the fans the greatest experience for the 4 innings that they're actually there from the 3rd to the 8th inning. That's the Dodgers do it right when it comes to that stadium. But you can't fix concrete. I mean, that's something that, you could put things around it, but you can't re-pour it.
Little patch job, little quick crete. Throw up there, get some gloves on.
Isn't Quickcrete, isn't that the Astros?
Is that their sponsor?
I think that's their sponsor. No, wait, theirs is Ozzy or Oxy. Oxy stuff. So
maybe the Dodgers got a Quickcrete sponsorship in their future.
We've already talked about the NCAA tournament. We'll be talking about that for the next couple of weeks. We're watching North Carolina and Oklahoma. It's 8-2 North Carolina, but man, these pitchers are on fumes.
Yeah,
we've worn these guys down. Not just regular season, but their conference tournaments into the NCAA, the double elimination. Man, it really sucks the life out of the pitching staff.
Well, they've been playing since February, beginning of February, first week of February.
But they're geared up in January.
Exactly. So they've been throwing for a while, and now it's all hands on deck, man. You know how it is. It's fumes. It's I can't feel my arm, but I don't care, coach.
Sponsored by Advil.
That would
or
be a
Tylenol.
Good one.
Oh, yeah.
And BioFreeze, there's a lot of sponsorships to go around.
Bengay. I don't know what they put on their arms anymore. What is it? Icy Hot?
Icy
what is
Hot.
it? Shaq's Icy Hot?
I'm a big Tiger Balm fan. That's what I like. Ooh.
Emo. That's
yeah.
Emu.
The
Emu.
blue.
That's Johnny Bench.
The blue.
The blue. Hey kids, rub this on your elbow. It'll feel great.